Good morning and welcome back to my channel, or good whatever time of the day that it is when you're watching this. So today I want to talk to you about one really simple exercise you can do to cultivate self-compassion when you're on a weight loss journey. So we all know that as we go through a journey, we get bumps in the road, and the real key part of this is recognizing that when it starts to feel hard, that's when we're changing. And our body, our brain, it doesn't like change. You know, we all get that kind of shiny new object syndrome. So let me ask you a question. How many times have you started a diet or a lifestyle change and the first couple of weeks have been fantastic? It's gone so well and you're like, yes, this is it. And then week 3, week 4, maybe week 5, it really starts to hit home. Actually, this is quite a lot of effort. And if I want to continue on this journey, the effort level is going to be high for a while. So it's like, think about a spaceship launching off Earth. It takes so much power to get it up into the air. But once it's up, it's just cruising around up there with the help of gravity. And that's what we need to focus on. Forget all this 21 days to change a habit. It doesn't come from any scientific research. The research actually says it can take up to, I think it's something like 300 days to change a habit. And it's different based on different habits, different people. Of course, everything is individual. So what we want to think about is actually, as we start to feel that, oh, this is hard, I don't want to, it's too hard, I can't do it. As soon as our brain starts to feed us those negative emotions, that's when we need to practice exercises of self-compassion and reflection so we can continue on that journey. So a couple of different things. Number one, I'm going to recommend an amazing exercise for you to do. And I've just been speaking to a one-to-one coaching client of mine who's just completed this exercise. And oh my gosh, reading through where they were versus where they are now, it's so wonderful to see. And it's all been small changes that we've worked on over the past 6 months. And I absolutely know you can do this too. Then also, we really want to be thinking about making it achievable. So the second part of this video is going to be all about how to break it down, because the best way to continue that motivation is to develop commitment to your goals, and you develop motivation and commitment by keeping things achievable. So if I was to say to you, right, that's it, go put your trainers on now and go and run a marathon, you'd feel overwhelmed. I can't possibly do that. That's too far. I've never ran that far. I don't know how to fuel for it. I don't know what to take with me. There would be so many barriers that your brain would just say, no, we're not doing it. It would protect you from that. Whereas if I was to say to you, okay, could you put your trainers on and go and do a lap around the block? Then your brain would probably be like, okay, yeah, we've got trainers. We know the route around the block. We don't need to prepare for it. Yeah, we could do that. And then you do it and you're like, yeah, tick, I did it. And our brain loves to achieve things. It loves to tick things off, but only if there's not too many barriers in the way. So your diet journey is like running a hurdles race, and we need to make sure that there's not too many hurdles too close together, otherwise you're just going to fall on the floor. So what we want to do is make it nice and achievable. Okay, so let's get stuck in. So number one, the first thing we're going to do is an exercise in reflection and self-compassion. So first of all, you're going to grab a piece of paper, just an A4 sheet like this, and you're going to put it into 2 columns. Then what you're going to do in the first column is write down all of the habits and behaviors and how you used to eat and how you used to feel in the left-hand side. So you might write things like, I used to eat takeaway every week. I used to have a hot chocolate every night before bed with marshmallows and cream, even though I knew the sugar was keeping me awake. I used to have a bottle of wine every night. It doesn't matter what it is. There's absolutely no judgment. Remember, we're doing this to be kind and compassionate to ourselves, but you're just going to write down all of those things on the left-hand side column. Any habits that you used to have, like, so try and think like the old me would have, okay? Then on the second sheet, on the second half of the piece of paper, you're going to think about like, what about the you today? What are you doing today that's different to those things? So it might be, I've reduced to 1 takeaway a month. I've reduced to 1 glass of wine a night. I now have a yogurt before bed because I know it helps me sleep. I regularly get 5,000 steps a day where I used to get maybe 3,000 steps. You know, it's not about perfection. It's not about thinking about where you ultimately want to get to. It's just a point in time reflection on where you have got to compared to where you were. And when you read that, you will recognize that you have made so many changes, and that's going to be really motivating because you're going to be able to see, okay, I may not be where I want to be just yet, but I'm a long way from where I was. And that's going to really help you with continuing on that journey, because then what you can do when you've got your 2 lists is think, okay, so maybe I've gone from drinking a bottle of wine a night to drinking a glass of wine a night. Maybe now my next challenge, because you can look through your list and pick a couple of things, I'm going to try and reduce to a glass of wine every other night. And then, that might be your challenge for the next couple of weeks. Or you may want to do something like, okay, I used to have a hot chocolate with marshmallows and cream every night, and then sleep badly because of the sugar. So then I've switched to having a yogurt every night, and that's great, and it really helps me sleep. And so maybe you're going to think, okay, how could I up the nutrition in that? Or I'm going to add some blueberries to the top of that, just for a little bit of extra nutrition without adding too much sugar. So again, we're just thinking about how are we, we're not always wanting to focus on what we're taking out of the diet. Sometimes we want to think about what we're putting into the diet to make it higher in fiber, more nutritious, more filling, more satisfying, and just generally something that makes you feel like good from the inside. Okay, so that's number 1. Then we're also going to think about exercise number 2 as well. So for this one, you won't need any pen or paper. You're simply going to think about what you're asking of yourself this week, and is it achievable? So whatever it is, whatever you're setting yourself up to do. So that might be, you might have written a meal plan. You might have planned your calories in MyFitnessPal. You might just be thinking to yourself, you know what? I want to increase my fruit and vegetables this week. I want to increase my water this week. I want to hit a certain step number this week. Whatever health promoting behavior you're thinking about this week, I want you to look at it and ask yourself this question. Do I believe it is 90% achievable on a bad day? So bad days, caught late at work, kids unwell, issues with parents, issues with children, issues with the dog, whatever it might be, I want you to ask yourself, is it 9 out of 10 achievable? I could do that if my week goes sideways, because let's be honest, more often than not, something crops up during the course of our week that we have to deal with. Now, if that only happens one day and you get 6 great days, amazing. But ask yourself on a regular basis, how many quote unquote good days do you get where you have time for yourself? Because if the answer to that at the moment is 1 day a week, and you're looking at this goal that you've set for yourself and you're thinking, I could probably do that 1 day out of 7, ask yourself, is it going to make you feel good if you only achieve it 1 time out of 7? Now, if it's something that you want to achieve maybe 3 or 4 days a week, maybe it's gym sessions, exercise classes, something like that. Maybe it's the other side of the coin. Maybe it's not getting a takeaway, not going to the sandwich shop at lunchtime. I really want you to ask yourself, how could I make this achievable on a really hard day? And so that might mean reducing it down. So instead of 10,000 steps, it might be 7,000 steps. Instead of, not ordering a takeaway and cooking a meal from scratch, it might be not ordering a takeaway and picking up a ready meal on your way home. If it's to do with getting out and about, it might be, okay, if I can't get to the gym, then I can do a workout at home once the kids are in bed or when the situation is sorted out. I want you to see what you've asked of yourself. Is it really, really achievable? Because I want you to get to the end of this week and think to yourself, yes, I achieved what I set out to, even if that's not, your 10 out of 10 best life, because ultimately your true best life means doing what you say you will do, because that is how you're going to build motivation. It's going to be how you get results. It's going to be how you feel committed. So that is your second challenge. So number 1 is the exercise. Grab a pen and paper. Look at the old you versus the new you. Then once you've done that and you pick a couple more things to change, ask yourself, are they truly, truly achievable, even in a challenging week? And if you do both of these things, I promise you'll get to the end of the week and for once you'll feel like, yeah, do you know what? I achieved what I set out to. And that's going to be such a good feeling. And once you prove to yourself that you can, then you set more realistic goals, and the next week you prove you can, and the next week you prove you can. And because you're setting it achievable, every week you achieve, and that is going to build your confidence, your motivation, your commitment, and most importantly, get you to your goals. It might take longer, but what's better, boosting confidence and motivation along the way, or feeling like you're constantly stopping and starting? So I'll leave it there. And I really look forward to your comments. Pop them below. Catch me over on social media. I'm at the handle at Next Level Nutrition, IOM. That stands for Isle of Man, where I'm based. And yeah, I cannot wait to hear from you. Thanks, guys.